Hi, this is Courtney, and I'm here today to talk to you about mindfulness meditation and goal setting. So, it's my goal in life to teach people that yoga is not just asana or postures or funny breathing or chanting, that it is the lifestyle. The yogic lifestyle isn't just about drinking water and eating vegan and turning yourself into a pretzel. You don't have to do any of those things to be a yogi. Yoga is a mind body connection. It is learning to live a more positive life, live a healthier life. And I believe with the practice of yoga in all forms that you can be happy. And so this is something you can read my bio online, but I'll just give you a brief bit of information. I've been teaching yoga for 15 years. I've been a practitioner for 27 years. I'm 45, and I started when I was 18. And I actually started earlier with Liz Fallon on TV, but I didn't really understand what I was doing. When I was 18, I embarked on a path to do yoga regularly and have sustained that for 27 years. So it has changed my life. It has been my rock. It has been my staple. It is the thing I go to. I am constantly learning. And, my dear friend Stacy and I always say that the more we know about yoga, we feel like we know this much. Like, you may think you know a lot, but the more you realize, like, I know just the tip of my finger. But what I do know has been such a blessing for me that I want to share it with you and I want to share it with other people. I have had a lot of private clients. I've done a lot of yoga therapy over the years. And just briefly, I will tell you that when people do yoga, they have a lot of emotional stuff come up. And it's really totally normal. It's kind of like being with your hairdresser. You're kind of relaxed and you get comfortable. And I won't go into how all of that happens on an internal level and the energetic and subtle anatomy behind that. But people would start to break down on me. And they cried on me all the time, or they became extremely close to me and divulged things that, to be quite truthful, I just didn't know how to handle. I'm an empath by nature, and so I would go home and I would just carry their struggles with me, and I couldn't let it go. And so I don't know what made me think to be a coach. And I always thought, I don't want to have a lot of friends that are therapists. I don't consider myself that, but I need to know how to communicate with people and put this back on them so that they can have some control over their life. And so about 2 years ago, I went through a program to become a solution focused coach. And man, it was life changing. If I did that only for myself, it was worth it. And so I took my experience as a yoga practitioner, teacher, and a trainer. I've trained over 132 teachers I'll be 150 in May, as I sit here and speak to you. So I've taken everything I've learned, what I have seen work for people, what has worked for me, and I'm going to share that with these videos with you. So the first one comes from coaching and from yoga therapy, and that is goal setting. Hopefully you're watching this. It's around Christmas right now. You might be seeing it. It's first of the year, but it doesn't matter. So I don't know if you can see this piece of paper. I'm going to have to get better with the whole filming thing, but this is on this piece of paper. Let's see if I can get it really close. It says goals, sub-steps, meditation, affirmation, and checking in. So what I want you to do is, this is a little coaching exercise, and we're going to add a little bit of positive thinking and meditation with it. So I want you to write down a goal that you have. And so for me, last year, I had a goal to be a best-selling author. And then sub-steps. So my first step was to set down time to write. So I got my calendar out. I went and bought one of those big calendars with the month, like just open like a big book. And I wrote down times to write. And I also put that on my Google Calendar. So it reminded me that, like, tomorrow is a day you're going to work from home. And then I set times aside to write. Secondly, I made a deadline for the first draft. And thirdly, I made a deadline to have it completed. Now, so you could take that, let's say you're trying to eat healthier. Your sub-steps might be sit down with your books and write down a healthy menu. Secondly, go to the grocery store, buy the food. And thirdly, cook the meals. And it would be like a repeat thing that you would do. And so, it can be, I want to be a better spouse. I want to be a better parent. I need to start saying one positive thing a day to my children, or I need to say a positive, compliment to my spouse every day. Whatever, I need to find a new job. So I'm going to write a resume, step one. Step two, I'm going to, contact all of my friends and family and let them know I'm looking for a job in this certain area. And step three, I'm going to mail out or send out, however you do it these days, 50 resumes in the next month. So you want to be reasonable. 50 might be a lot. You want to set sub goals that you feel like you can actually reach. And it's important to have a timeline, and it needs to be, you don't want to make it so hard you're not going to do it. It almost needs to be so easy you're guaranteed to do it. Okay? Until you get the hang of it anyway. And then the third step is meditation. So I'm going to ask you to do a short meditation on this. You've got your goal now. If you need to pause and write all that down, that's fine. So I'm going to have you close your eyes, and I'm going to tell you when to open your eyes. So please just sit comfortably, get comfortable, put your paper in your lap. Now close your eyes and take a big deep breath in. And exhale completely. Let your body soften. And now I want you to visualize in your mind like you're watching a movie of yourself. And I want you to see yourself with your sub-step 1. I want you to see what you're doing. If you are getting ready to eat healthier, then visualize yourself with your cookbooks or your computer, a cup of tea. I want you to smell the smells in the room. I want you to think about what might be there. Maybe you smell coffee brewing, or you made a cup of peppermint tea. The tastes that are involved. Maybe you're drinking a cup of tea while you're preparing your list. Any sounds you might hear. Maybe you hear your children in the background, or the birds. Okay, so we got see, smell, taste, hearing, and now touch. See what you're wearing. Like visualize what you're wearing. Like you get up in the morning, you take a shower, you get ready, you put on your favorite comfortable clothes that you would go shopping in or whatever, and you feel how that feels against your skin. I want you to let your subconscious mind connect to your 5 senses and see how that feels. Okay? Then I want you to think about how you feel internally as you do this. Probably proud of yourself because you've actually sat down and you're doing something productive to change your life. So think about that. And then with step 2, think about that. For me, step 2 is having the draft, and I had to think about what that meant. That meant that I would have to write every day, and I saw myself sitting, I actually write in bed or on the couch, and with my tea, with my favorite sweats on, with my hair up, my face clean. That's how I like to function. I do good just to get up in the morning, take my son to school, come home, and just start working. Or on the weekends, actually, is when I write the best. Get up, get my coffee, and write. So I would go through that. How does it smell? I have my coffee. What do I hear? My animals are on the bed with me. What do I taste? My coffee. I see my computer in front of me. I've got all my books and resources beside me, my notepad, my pen, my computer. And then step 3 would be your final step. So if it's cooking a meal, if it's having, something that you just, whatever your sub-step is. So if it's cooking a meal, it might be smelling the vegetables cooking in the pan, or smelling the spices and taking a bite and tasting it, visualizing, seeing all the beautiful produce, hearing the sizzle, having your favorite apron on that maybe your grandma gave you, and then feeling that sense of, wow, this is what taking care of me looks like. So you're really getting a sense on a sensory level of how you can get to this goal. And then I want you just to relax and go into that state, kind of drop back. And I call this, I visualize the subconscious mind in the back of the brain, whether it is or not. Just visualize going back there, not the part of the mind that's analytical. Now I want you to think about, as if you're watching a movie, what this is going to look like. Visualize the outcome. You're going to feel better. You're going to have a better relationship with your spouse. You're going to be a better parent. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to be a best-selling author. You're going to lose 10 pounds. Whatever the outcome is, really visualize what it smells like. What does it taste like? Who's there with you? What does it feel like? What do you hear? What do you see? All your senses. And then most importantly, how do you feel? I've been guilty of not celebrating the accomplishments, about being like, oh wow, I got there. Woo, I'm gonna call my girlfriends, I'm gonna tell my honey, tell my fiance, call my mom, and they're all gonna tell me they're proud of me. But I am really, really bad about finishing a goal and then starting a new one right away. I crave that creative process. So that's fine, but I want you to really, before you've even gotten there, I want you to really think about what that feels like. Okay. Now, I want you to set, before you open your eyes, I want you to set an affirmation in the positive present tense. I am a great mother. I am a great father. I'm a loving spouse. I build my spouse up. I'm a best-selling author. Whatever your goal is, say it as if it has already happened and it is positive. I am healthy. I have lost 20 pounds. I am happy. And then you want to check in. You really want to give your goal a reasonable amount of time. If you say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in a month, that's probably not reasonable for most people of an average weight, okay? If you are very overweight and need to lose 10 pounds and some subtle changes would make a difference, that's great. But I want you to have some very doable actions here, but they need to be easy enough that you'll do them and that you can be committed. On a scale of 1 to 10, you need to be at an 11 committed. So make it where you're like, yeah, I can do that. Now here's the catcher. You can open your eyes now. If you look at this, and this happens to me all the time, I'll look at a problem and I'm like, I really didn't think that through, or I didn't expect this to happen in my life. I have an autistic child, and my goal last summer in June was to get this book done, and we had some major issues with him, and I just couldn't do it. So I just moved the date. It was pressure I was putting on myself. It wasn't coming from anybody else. So I moved the date. I wanted to have the book ready by the time school started this year, and they're getting it one chapter at a time. And that's, it is what it is. I did finish the book from March to December. So in 9 months, I finished a 200-page book, and I edited it down to 173 pages. So, that's a great accomplishment. I wrote a book. I hope it's published. I expect to be a best-selling author, so you got to check in every so often, and you got to adjust, and you got to be willing to be flexible and adjust. And so that is my yogic principle for you today. The principle is mindfulness, positive thinking, meditation, and affirmation. And using this little step in everything you do. You can do it for big goals. You can do it for little goals. But go back to it all the time. And I hope it helps you, and I hope you'll follow me. Thank you so much. Take care.